Listen, do you hear that? It's the sound of being forgotten, the echo of a parallel world that exists just beneath our feet or just beyond our line of sight. A world born from colossal ambition, built with billions of dollars, and then abandoned to darkness and silence. To understand the phantom limb of a modern city, we must travel back to an age of explosive optimism. We're going to Cincinnati, Ohio. At the turn of the 20th century, Cincinnati wasn't just a city, it was an industrial powerhouse. The Queen of the West, they called it. But that growth brought with it the chronic disease of every metropolis: congestion. In 1910, a radical vision emerged, a state-of-the-art subway system. It wasn't just a transportation project, it was a declaration that Cincinnati would lead America into the future. The plan was meticulous: a 16-mile loop, 7 modern stations, a dream the public eagerly funded with a $6 million bond issue in 1916. But then, the unforgiving wheels of history began to turn. In 1917, America entered World War I, and all non-essential construction was banned. The dream was put on hold. When the war ended, inflation had crippled the budget. Despite the headwinds, construction finally began in 1920. For 5 years, thousands of workers toiled, and by 1925, they had achieved an engineering marvel. Over 7 miles of tunnels were dug. The primary underground stations were formed. The skeleton of the system was in place. But while they were digging underground, another revolution was happening on the surface: the rise of the automobile. Americans were falling in love with the freedom of personal transportation. Politicians began to see a different future, one of sprawling highways, not dark tunnels. The political debate became toxic. By 1927, the money had run out completely. Work stopped. The Great Depression hit in 1929, extinguishing any last glimmer of hope. In 1928, the Cincinnati subway project was officially suspended permanently. And it's all still there today. A fully intact network of tunnels and stations, locked away and forgotten. A silent kingdom beneath the bustling city streets. It's a time capsule. The city has tried to resurrect it many times as a highway, a fallout shelter, a light rail line, but every effort has failed. The cost is simply too high. So it lies in waiting, a multi-million-dollar monument to a dream derailed. The story of the Cincinnati subway is the classic textbook case of ghost infrastructure. It's a perfect storm of war, inflation, technological disruption, and shifting political will. It's a stark reminder that the future is never guaranteed. If Cincinnati's story is about a dream buried, our next story is about a nightmare that clawed its way into the sky. We leave America for one of the most secretive nations on Earth, the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. And there, in the center of its capital, Pyongyang, stands a structure that Esquire magazine once called the worst building in the history of mankind. This is the Ryugyong Hotel. A monstrous 330-meter-tall pyramid, it was designed to be the tallest hotel in the world. 105 floors, 3,000 rooms. It was North Korea's answer to the capitalist world. Its story begins in the late 1980s, a final flex of Cold War rivalry. South Korea was preparing for the 1988 Seoul Olympics. In response, North Korea began construction on the Ryugyong in 1987, pouring an estimated 2% of the nation's GDP into the project. The goal was a grand opening in 1989. But just like in Cincinnati, history intervened. In 1991, the Soviet Union collapsed, and North Korea's economy went into freefall. Construction stopped completely in 1992. For over 16 years, the Ryugyong stood as a hollow concrete shell, an unwindowed, unfinished pyramid. At its peak, a rusted crane remained, a skeletal finger pointing accusingly at the sky. It became a source of national shame, often airbrushed out of official photographs. But the story doesn't end there. In 2008, an Egyptian company financing North Korea's 3G network agreed to finish the building's exterior. Over 3 years, the entire structure was clad in $180 million worth of dark blue glass. It looked sleek, modern, finished. The luxury hotel group Kempinski even announced plans to manage it, a stunning development. But just months later, Kempinski abruptly pulled out, citing that market entry is not currently possible. The door slammed shut once again. Today, the Ryugyong Hotel's facade is a giant LED screen for propaganda, a glittering cloak over an empty shell. It is believed to be unfinished inside. Not a single guest has ever checked in. It is the most stubborn of ghosts, a lesson in how an architectural failure can be repurposed as a spectacular piece of political theater. From a buried tunnel to a forsaken tower, the scale of ghost infrastructure grows. In the 21st century, we've witnessed the birth of the brand new ghost town. Welcome to Ordos Kangbashi in China's Inner Mongolia. Built on a sea of coal, the local government used its immense wealth to construct a spectacular new city in the desert, planned for 1 million people. They hired world-class architects, an opera house, a museum, a library, all stunningly designed, rose from the sand. Gleaming residential towers and wide boulevards were built. It was a desert utopia. But there was one problem. Nobody came. For years, Kangbashi was almost completely empty. It became known as China's largest ghost city. The problem wasn't the quality, it was economics. Property prices were driven to astronomical heights by speculators, far beyond the reach of ordinary people. Most apartments were bought as investments, not homes. The city lacked jobs outside the coal industry. Kangbashi became the poster child for China's real estate bubble, a model of development based on speculation rather than genuine human need. But China wasn't alone. Half a world away, in Spain, a similar story was unfolding. In the years before the 2008 financial crisis, Spain was in the grip of an unprecedented construction frenzy. A prime example is Ciudad Valdeluz, a master-planned town built for 30,000 residents, complete with schools, parks, and a high-speed train station. Then, in 2008, the bubble burst. Construction companies went bankrupt. In Valdeluz, the result was a surreal landscape. Neat rows of brand-new, identical townhouses sitting next to weed-choked empty lots and the concrete skeletons of half-finished apartment blocks. These ghost towns are the scars of our own time, dreams of a better life frozen just before they could begin. So, what do we learn from these ghosts? The first lesson is the staggering financial cost. Billions, if not trillions of dollars, are buried in these projects. But there is another, intangible cost: the opportunity cost. Think of Cincinnati. That money could have been used for more practical solutions. These ghost structures also leave physical scars on the landscape and represent a colossal waste of natural resources. They are constant, physical reminders of failure, a tax on the future. More importantly, these phantoms force us to ask fundamental questions about how we plan our cities. Lesson 1. Humility in the face of change. Cincinnati's planners bet everything on the subway and lost to the automobile. Are we making the same mistake today, building for a present that will soon be the past? Lesson 2. Plan for people, not for projections. The ghost cities show what happens when construction is divorced from demand. A city is a community, and community cannot be built with concrete alone. Lesson 3. Beware of shiny object syndrome. Politicians are often seduced by iconic mega projects when more boring solutions like maintenance often provide greater benefit. These ghosts are not here to discourage us. They are here as our harshest teachers. They teach us that urban planning is not an exact science. It is a complex art, a delicate balance between ambition and reality. They remind us that the greatest cities are not the ones with the grandest projects, but the ones that are adaptable, sustainable, and truly serve the lives of their people. The next time you hear about a new mega project, remember these stories. Ask questions, because the line between a great vision and a new piece of ghost infrastructure is sometimes thinner than we think.